Hey, what's up, guys? I gotta do the biggest disclaimer that I've done this year on this video. What I am about to tell you guys is not recommended. It's for educational purposes only. And it's also just very interesting and it's news. It's something that I think is interesting for you to be aware of as far as just like thinking out of the box and trying things. Um, but it's just, I can't say it enough. This is not something that you should do that I recommend. But when I talk about finance, I talk about thinking like a financier. I talk about trying things and thinking outside the box. I think that we just forget that in a lot of ways Wall Street plays a different game, and that if you're doing things the right way and you're thinking creatively, sometimes opportunities can come out of nowhere. So, um, like I said in the title, right now, like as I make this video, Robinhood is literally loaning infinite money. Now, some people are saying, oh, they're giving away money, and that's not the case. It was discovered not by me. I cannot take credit for that at all. There's a group on Reddit called Wall Street Bets, which is really just more fun and entertainment than than taking real advice. But the thing that's interesting about this group, and it ties into this whole conversation that we've been having about becoming a financier, is that they just come up with some of the craziest, in some cases, dumbest ideas on how to make money, how to invest money, and it's all about, the name is Wall Street Bets. It's not about investing. It's not about long term making money. It's about like, how can I make a few dollars? How can I make 1,000? How can I make as much money in the shortest period of time, taking the most outrageous risk possible? So this one is an interesting one and one that I had to share with you guys. So somebody was playing around with the app, and this is one of those things where sometimes, even when it comes to crazy stuff, trying things out is so valuable. But somebody was playing around with their Robinhood app and came to the realization that they could get margin essentially against margin. I'm going to explain that to you. So when you're investing in the stock market, a lot of brokers will extend a amount of margin to you. This usually is in the form of a 50% match, something actually that we do as well. When we're doing our deals, a lot of times we'll, have investors that want to loan an additional amount against the investment. So it's like, okay, you're putting up 20,000. We have an investor that will loan an additional 20,000, so that represents 50% of what you have invested. With the stock market, same thing. They will do 50% of the total. So if you're putting up 50,000, then you want to buy 100,000 worth of stock, they will loan the other 50,000, and it's usually a pretty low rate. I think Robinhood's doing like 4.5, 5%. So decent rate. If you're getting a good return, if you know the investment's going to be worth it, then that can be valuable. Now, if you're a high end customer at places like Goldman Sachs and that kind of thing, you can find where they will actually give you a 0% rate because they're going to make money all kind of other ways. So depending on what kind of customer you are, but the most expensive rates will be like 5%. You don't want to really go above that because the likelihood of you getting a return just dwindles. If you're paying 10% just to break even, you got to get a return of 10%. So that is the concept of margin. Now, obviously, if you're borrowing a margin, they want to be at that 50% mark. So most of the time, they're not going to loan you any more money until you put more cash in, and then they'll match that with a margin loan. Well, Robinhood has a open patch that, as of within the last 10 minutes of me doing this video, it's still open. I went into the app and checked. The other really interesting thing about what they're doing, or just the whole thing, because I never even tried margin on there, you know. But the other interesting thing is that like the questions that they are asking in order for you to get the margin account is like just, I mean, they're just giving away the money before you even get to the strategy that I'm going to tell you guys. Or the loophole, I shouldn't even call it strategy, loophole that I'm going to share with you guys. So the cool thing is from a perspective of, you know, borrowing money. And then, you know, I was talking about this concept of taking a loan and then borrowing against that loan. This is like a real life version that a consumer can do right now, even though it's not supposed to be happening. But essentially, what the loophole allows for is that it will take the value of your account and say that you can borrow 50% of that. So let's say that you've got $5,000, and this is actually one of the guys, I think he may have started only with $2,000, but let's say you've got $5,000. Now you can go and buy $10,000 worth of stock, pay 5% on that additional 5,000. Well, what Robinhood, as of right now, this hole that needs to be patched is that it still looks as if you have that $100,000 and that you have paid for that and that you have cash. And so you've got literally $10,000 of cash into a stock. So now it will allow you to go and buy another 10,000 borrowing at the 5% rate. And now you have 20,000, and so on. Now it sees that you have 20,000, you can borrow another 20,000 and pay 5% on it. And you started out with this $5,000 cash and can, you know, easily get up to 4,000, 40,000, 50,000, whatever. So there's one guy that's in this Reddit group that guy got up to $1 million, guys. $1 million. Actually, I'm gonna pop over on his. He started out with 4,000. Started out with 4,000 of his own dollars. Just shared a screenshot. And he's up to 1,029,600. Outrageous. Outrageous. This isn't, now let's talk about why you don't want to go and do this. This isn't free money. That's why, you know, when I say this is a loan. So if things go against this investment that he's made, and let's say he's got a $500,000, or he's like got $1 million in, it goes down 20%. And once it goes to a certain point, and each broker will be different, they call that loan due. Let's say like, hey, if it goes below 10%, we are gonna, you know, call the loan and say, you know, this investment isn't working out, so we want our money. But let's say it just goes down 10% against this, and Robinhood wants out and they call it due. He owes $100,000. So they sell the 90%. He owes 100. If it goes down 20%, he owes 200. It goes down 50%, he owes $500,000. So it's really, really cool until it goes against you. And there's some other things that now that people are realizing there's this hole here, and there's this hole with just the margin side. There's some even crazier things that folks are talking about and are trying and doing with options. So now you've got an option on something, or you can sell options against all of this. You know, let's say if you've got $1 million worth of a stock, you can now go and sell options against that. and get an influx of just cash of 100,000 options. Just as a side note, some people will nerd out on this and it'll be more entertaining than others, but options, basically it's like giving somebody the right to buy your stock. So you can say, I'm going to sell you $100,000 at $100,000, the option to buy my $1,000,000 worth of stock at this certain price. If it goes up, then you make money. If it goes down, then I make money, that kind of thing. So if you got $1,000,000 worth of stock, you can literally just sell that option to buy it, make $100,000 on that. And again, if everything goes great, great, but it can go really, really wrong, which is why I think the lesson for us is it's cool to think about these strategies. It's cool to see, like, man, like, you can get access to cash. And if Robinhood's giving out this money that easily, even though they don't know it, or maybe they're trying to fix it now, but there are institutions that literally are made, they want to give loans. Like, the reason that this exists is that Robinhood wants to give these loans. They don't want to just give them out willy-nilly, but these institutions make money by giving out loans and making the interest on it. So that is out there. Now, the key is to be able to do that and then have a real asset that's going to produce an income for you, as opposed to something that can go up and down with the whims of the market. So that is what I just wanted to make a quick video for you guys and share that. It's super interesting. And now that they've come up with this, I'm curious to kind of follow this. It's Wall Street best for any of you other folks that want to follow that. But I'm curious to follow this a little more closely than in the past, just to think outside of the box on how some of the craziness that they come up with can apply to some of the things and strategies that we implement. Thanks so much for checking out the video. I hope that was an interesting story for you guys. Comment below. Let me know if you've done any crazy things in the stock market lately. Be sure to like the video as well. And as always, appreciate y'all's questions. Thanks.